we have discussed relating to treasury bonds, clean price, dirty price. Now, examiner asks you to calculate the pricing of a treasury bond. It means dirty price. So when you are calculating the treasury bond based on the cash flows, it is actually a dirty price. So when the examiner asks you to calculate the clean price, you can't straight away calculate it. Only thing you have to calculate first the accrued interest part. So how do we calculate the accrued interest? We discussed last week. It is basically a accrued interest, right? So the accrued interest is basically last coupon date to the settlement date. Settlement date. So settlement date is what? The date we make the payment. Now see, when you talk about the settlement date and the purchase date, two different things, right? So the settlement date and the purchase date or the agreed date may be different. Now, for example, treasury bill, auction date is different. Auction date is different from the settlement date. The auction date is Wednesday, always, not always, but if they are provided that there is no holidays during the week, so it is Wednesday. But the settlement date is Friday. Settlement date is Friday. So there are two different dates, but treasury bonds are not like that. Treasury bonds, it can be either after 2 days or it can be either different days. It depends. Right? There should be not necessary to have spot date. So the day after 2 days time settlement, not necessarily for treasury bond, but treasury bill is. That's the practice. We have discussed. So the basically last coupon date to the settlement date. This is last coupon date, right? Last coupon date to the settlement date. We call the accrued interest based on the coupon. We call it the accrued interest. So accrued interest is basically related to the owner of this accrued interest is the seller. Right? We discussed last week is the seller. So you have to pay to the seller. You are settling the whatever the purchase or the government security or treasury bond on this date. But now somebody was holding until this date from this date. But this is the last coupon date. But during this, actually the seller was holding, but you are purchasing only on this date. So from this date, only anything receivable, it is attributable to you only. But apart now, before the settlement date, anything should go to the seller. But what the central bank is doing, what is the next coupon date? So they check who is the owner of this particular bond at that date. So the entire 6-month coupon is credited to the new buyer. The new buyer, new owner. So then the seller is losing something. So what we have discussed clearly last week, it will be compensated to what? Price. So it will be compensated through the price you find out in the exam. For example, for question, dirty price is embedded the accrued interest part as well. So that's why I told you that the answer you get by calculating or finding the pricing of treasury bond is dirty price. Why? Inclusive of accrued interest. So then we are clear of that, right? We are clear. It's very important for you all to get to know. Then, so basically, this is the government security part, and I want to discuss with you shares. I think that the first day tunes, it says shares. Probably I can't show it. It's not available here. The tune is not there. I asked them to put it, but introduction. there. I'm sorry about it. And then you must be having dispute on shares. So remember that why we are learning on shares. Shares also important. We have touched this shares a little. Basically, we will be discussing on shares. Why we want to discuss on shares or equity. That is an alternative investment for you all. What do you mean by alternative investment? So basically, investors or so I am coming to you. Why I am coming to you? You are working in the investment banking division, right? So I am asking, please manage my money. I don't have time to manage, and I don't have expertise to manage. So I'm giving you my money to manage, and give me a return. So that is what fund management or wealth management or whatever, right? So you are undertaking that part. Investment banking division undertakes that part. So basically, I'm giving money to you. Portfolio management, you are doing it. Investment banking people doing it. So since you have money, you should look for the investment opportunity. Where to invest this money? Where do you invest this money to earn a return? Why? You are supposed to give a return to the investor. The person who gives money, you should give a return back. Whatever the return, right? Agreed return. So, do you think that it is a wise decision to put money in shares? So, do you think that it is a wise decision for you all to put money in shares? It depends. Why? Now, shares are basically risky asset. Why we say it's risky compared to other instruments? Other instrument means government security or whatever, or deposit or whatever. Now, the share market is very risky business, but high return, high risk. You want to go for a high return, you have to anyway accept the high risk. That's obvious. Now, see, if you take your bank or your financial institution where you work, now see, you don't know what is the maximum lending period you give. We say housing loans. We say 20 years, 25 years, or 10 years. We say everybody has 10-year housing loan. Every bank has 10-year housing loan. But do you have a product for 10 years? You must be having pension funds, pension instrument, but very small amount. But do you have a product for 10 years FD? Do you have it? You don't. Maximum 5 years you have, right? So then you have 5-year deposit. You are taking money for 5 years. If the depositor comes and asks you after 5 years, you should be giving money to him back with the interest. But you have lent this money for long term, more than 10 years, more than 5 years. So how can you give money? Your investment, your investment will be receiving on installment basis till after so during the time of 10 years. Whereas your deposit has to be matured within 5 years time. So there is a mismatch, maturity mismatch, we call it, right? So tenor mismatch, maturity mismatch. So then only you can earn profit. Now say if you have a deposit for 5 years and you are putting a deposit for 5 years, 1-to-1 match, no time differences, no maturity mismatch. You can earn profit, but obviously significantly lower than what you are lending more than that. So then you can still make profit, but very little margin. If you are running the maturity mismatch, then only you can earn profit. That's what banks are doing. That's what banks are doing. Right? So they are lending at longer period, but whereas they are taking the deposit for shorter period or maximum 5 years. So there is a maturity mismatch. So then only you can earn profit. So you have as long as you have maturity mismatch, you can earn profit. You can earn a better profit. We say rather, you can earn profit in any way, but you can have better profit than putting it a one-to-one maturity bucket rather than putting in a one-to-one maturity bucket. If you are giving a loan, so what you are giving investment for longer term than the money received as a deposit for short term and earn profit, more profit. So similarly, here also the similar. Now, if you want to make profit, if you want to go for a higher return, you should take a risk. So the share market is a risky business. Now, when you invest in shares, when you invest in government securities, what are the income we are getting? So the government securities we are getting, one income is coupon income. One income is coupon income. Then what is the other one? If you sell it before it gets matured, you get what? Capital gain. So any instrument you can earn capital gain if you sell it before it gets matured. Now say 5-year debenture, or we say 3-year, 5-year debenture, or 5-year we say government the treasury bond. You are holding it after 3 months time, after 3 years time you are selling. You don't keep this instrument till it gets matured. So you are selling it. So basically, you can earn capital gain if you're selling at a profitable rate. So if you sell it before it gets matured, then only you can earn capital gain. If you hold it till it gets matured, you can't earn capital gain, but you can have this coupon interest on it. Now, if you invest in shares, what do you get? Two different income, two different names. For the government security or debenture, we call it interest income or coupon income. But here we are saying, as you said, dividend income, right? So then, now say now when you are investing in shares, you can have it two markets. One thing is primary market, the other one is secondary market. So primary market is basically we call it IPO, initial public offering, IPO. So you want to raise money. So then I'm an individual. I have a company. I need some money. So I'm coming to you. Why I'm coming to you? You are investment banking. You are investment bank. I'm coming to you. I'm asking you. I need this much of money. I have a company. I have a big project to initiate. So I have a company. So what do you suggest for me to raise money? What are the sources I can raise money for this particular company? So then you can suggest whatever the now alternative investment methods, alternative fundraising methods we have discussed so far. And also you can suggest go for IPO to raise money. You can avoid this has not been listed so far. So this is a normal company. You can ask them to go for to make a list curve. You can say like that. So otherwise we go for IPO, initial public offering. This public offering. So then what happened? What are the implications? What are the impact? You want to raise money for a particular company. Say. So now I am the sole owner of this particular company. So now I'm inviting others to put money. So then they also become who? Owners. So it's your choice. You want to raise money. You want money for this particular project. Plus, will it be okay? And your shareholding is diluting. Now see the word diluting. Why? I have 100%. Now, after you raise money through shares, you should not be having 100%. Why? There are a few more owners. So you put money, so then you become owner. So can I hold 100%? No, I don't. I can't hold 100%. Whatever the percentage, I have to give them. I have to sacrifice my shareholding percentage to the new shareholder. So my ownership is diluting. I don't have any more 100%. My ownership is diluting. So then you will have to accept it. Whether the decision is with you, whether you will be okay to dilute your shareholding percentage. That option has you have to take. Otherwise, you can ask him to go for a debenture. But debenture, of course, a problem. Why? So generally now you have to be rated for a debenture. The company has to be rated. So then the people will think that this is not going to be a new company. This is a new company. So we are not sure about this company. So then people will not put money as you expected. Now tell me now, if the people now say you issue a debenture. Now when the people put money and at the not expected level, now you wanted to raise 100, but people have the general public has put subscribe only 75. There is a balance 25. So what are the alternative methods you can have it? 100 you want to raise through debenture, 75 raised. Now the debenture is closed, going to be closed today. There's time period for the debenture, right? So what is the option you have? We have discussed in the class. So then one thing is you can go with
underwriting.
Yeah.
Yes.
Basically, you should be having a prior arrangement for underwriting. So then you are not sure about the people whether people will subscribe or not fully. So then you go for a underwriting. So then the balance part will be taken by the underwriter. So then you will be having a fully subscribed debenture issue. So there will be a fee involving in subscribing. Now shares. Now say you issue a debenture, you issue shares. Now your suggestion is to go for a IPO, initial public offering. You are inviting public to participate. And you're giving your portion of shares. So diluting your shareholder percentage, whatever percentage you have to give it to other people. And now see now IPO. One thing is now if it is an IPO, you should print a particular document. This is an examination question for 2 marks. Now you have to print the document called prospectus. A prospectus is the document which contains almost all the information on the particular company. All the information, all true information. Present, future, and also the past. All the information. Qualitative, quantitative, everything. Present litigation, past litigation, future litigation, everything. So the future, present, and past. So you should give all this information. Right? So I don't know. So I am the investor. Say you are issuing a new share for a company. I should know everything what this company is. Why they are asking money from us? Why they are asking money from the investors to put? I make company you should know everything. So what kind of company is this? What are the internal problems this company is having? What are the future things, future events, future litigation, future projects the company is having? So you, as investor or as owner, you become a prospective owner once you are alerted. Yeah, you should know everything. So it is a mandatory requirement by the CSE. If you are issuing IPO, if you are going for IPO and to be listed in the stock exchange, you have to print, you have to present a prospectus which contains all the information, right, irrespective of all the information. It should include, right? So now you say now you go for an IPO. Now IPO, you raise money, you're asking public to participate money. So you will be allotted and after the IPO finish. So then you can list. You can list. Say now I wanted to have shares from the IPO, but I have put my application, but I was not allotted. I didn't get any shares from IPO. Example. then I need to buy these shares. I need to invest my money in this particular company. This is going to be a good company. So then where can I buy this? I didn't get it. I have put an application, but I didn't get any money. So how can I be a shareholder of this particular company? So there is a way for you to get a shareholder through what? From the secondary market. So the primary market is with whom? Company and the investor or the public. Secondary market is where? CSE, Colombo Stock Exchange. So that is the flow where tradings happen. Share tradings happen. So that is secondary market. Now say, now this particular company had an issued share capital 100. Now they actually put it 25. They have issued 25 to other shareholders. TN 25 දුන්නා IPO එකකින් ගත්තා. Now that this 25 shares is listed in the CSE. Then share list and the buying price is there, selling price is there. Now it's trading, buying and selling price. Whatever the price they started. Now it's, if you have more demand, price goes up. Less demand, price come down. Either. So there is a demand and supply. There is a true price based on the demand and supply. Now so I need to buy. I couldn't buy it from IPO, so I need to buy. Then I can ask. I can buy from the secondary market, that is from CSE. Now when I buy from the secondary market, does the money come to a company? Now say this is ABC company. They went for IPO. IPO එකක් ගියා. දැන් list කරා. අලුත් shareholder කෙනෙක් කියලා මේ shares ගන්නවා. කවුරු හරි විකුණන්නත් කැමති, IPO එකෙන් ගත්ත කෙනෙක් විකුණන්නත් කැමති. So then somebody was buying these shares. IPO guy has sold this share. Does the company get money? No. Company has already got money. Yeah. From the IPO. Now nothing to do with the company now. Nothing to do with the company. Company has found their whatever the required money now. So when the company is trading in the secondary market or the CSE, particular company, for example, John Keells, it's a listed company. Shares are trading. Does the company get money? No, nothing. They don't get money. Why? They initially, when they issue a public, when they issue shares, long time ago, they must have received money. That's all, finished. Then new buyers and sellers, they are trading, they are trading, they are trading. Company has nothing to do with this pricing. But why the companies are worrying about their pricing of the CSE? It reflects true pricing. Now say, we take John Keells. They don't get money now. They buying, selling, they don't get money. But why they are worrying? So their company valuation, sometimes when the prices goes up, when the price goes up, it goes up. When the price comes down, it comes down. So they are worrying about that only. My company valuation is coming down due to this share price, lower share price. So then I'm worrying. So everybody think, oh, John Keells prices are, it's not going to work. Company so you can say like that. So that's the worry you have, not in monetary terms, right? Remember, not in monetary terms, but only the reputation wise. You are actually taking much effort to bring back. So when the company is doing well, when the investors or the shareholders need to know this company's performance is good, then you have more demand. You have more demand. So the prices goes up. Prices goes up. Prices go up. So then there is more demand, right? Company is performing well. Now company does not get any money after that. So there are a lot of listing requirements. List tunawa again, you have to comply with a lot of listing requirements. So I will be giving you a separate note on listing requirement. Right? So what are the initial to be listed? What are the to be listed? What are the listing requirements. There are few. And also once you get listed, there are continuous listing requirements. List comply you can't go away. You have continuously you have to comply with this. Why? Generally, so there are benefits of being listed. Also giving you a note on that. A benefit and examination question, not from your exam, but the other exam, financial market operation exam. Right? That's the question. So benefits of being listed. Benefits of being listed. Now, when you get listing in a CSC, you can ask a lot of people to participate. Now, listed companies are more transparent affairs than others. Like a listed company now, for example, now you say John Keels, a listed company. Now say Siddhale, now listed. So which one you prefer go for? Obviously, why John? Why it's transparent. Prices are there. So their directors are saying what they are doing. But do you know inside what's happening in Siddhale? Do you know? It's more transparent when you're being listed. When you get listed, it's more transparent. Why? There's a continuous listing requirement. So everything you do, you should tell your the shareholders or the general public. You should publish all the public documents to go through the investors or go through the shareholders. You can't hide anything. So there's a stringent listing requirement to be listed as well as continuous listing requirement as well. So it's very, very stringent. You have to comply. And also remember that we have two boards mainly. So one thing is main board we have, and there is another board we call the Diri Sabi board. Must have heard. I'm also giving you a note on this. Right? So we are actually taking the face of it only. We are touching the thing. I'll be giving note on this. There is for you to be listed CSC on the main board. There are listing requirements. And also to be listed under the Reserve board, there are listing requirements. There is a minimum capital. There is a minimum percentage of minimum time duration of profitability. So minimum percentage of public shareholding. So everything is there. So that is to be listed. If you comply with this kind of listed requirement, then you can be listed at. Apart from these two boards, there is another board we call default board. So if any company, listed company doesn't comply with any continuous listing requirement, so they can be put it into the default board. The temporary board until you get comply. Now, a lot of companies are in the default board. Why? They have not presented the annual accounts, annual audited accounts. State companies are there. They are not presenting the annual audited accounts. So that is a continuous listing requirement. You should provide audited accounts. But if you don't provide for a specific period of time, then you will be transferred into default board. This is basically reputation wise not good. Reputation wise not good. Why? It is published. You are in the default board, it will be published. Not good for you all, right? So there are listed requirements. I can't list requirements. You have to comply with. And part now recently, not recently, but 2 to 3 years ago, they have introduced Empower board. I'll give you a note on this. Empower board, that is for the SME sector. This was tested in your exam. Empower board, and also MCB board, multi-currency board. That is for the offshore companies. Again, අපේ රටෙන් එහා තියෙන companies වල which has more than $10 million as capital, you can list in Sri Lanka in the stock exchange. So the foreign companies can be listed here. So that's the facility. The facility given by the government under MCB board. It's available now, right? And I'll give you a note on this MCB board, and also it's basically paper articles, right? I'll give it to you, and all the features, comprising all the features. So unlisted requirements and continuous listed requirements. So why do you want to be listed? One thing is you can ask many people to contribute. That is one option. And also you are more transparent than the other companies. You disclose everything. And if you are saying something false which is not existent to the shareholder, it is a criminal offense. It's an offense, right? It is an offense, so you can be sued. And there were some situations in Sri Lanka. Now, when you issue debenture or when you issue shares, so you should tell the investors the purpose. Why you are issuing this? Why you are raising this? Why you are raising this money through shares? Why? What is the purpose? So tell them. But remember, you have to implement whatever the promises. If you raise money for something, so you should do that. So everything should be included in the prospectus is the document where you give all the information to the prospective investor. So the prospectus says something, but you are doing something else. You can't do like that. You can't do like that. So whatever the promises, you have to keep it up. You have to adhere to the promises you are giving as the purpose. You should do the same purpose. You should spend the money for the same purpose. So very, very stringent compliances, right? When you're being listed and you go for IPO and everything. So it's not easy. And also the costly. Now, rather than going IPO, you have another option. What? Private placement. You are not inviting everybody to participate. So I'm coming to you. So you said, you're asking me, IPO can take everything you're asking. So I said, no, I don't want to dilute my shareholders much. And I don't have money to spend. Cost. Now, going for IPO is cost. That prospectus in Kandone, you have to listing requirements, CSC, it's costly. You have to pay for brokers as well, brokerage, for finding people. Very costly. So rather than going for IPO, you can go for a private placement. You can go for a private placement as well. Private placement, basically you are telling each and individual investors privately, I have a company, I'm going to issue shares, would you like to participate in the shareholding? So physically or an individual, you are saying, you are not publishing. This act is not known to everybody. This act is not known to everybody. Why? Private placement. Privately, should you speak to people, would you like to participate? Would you like to participate? There is no listing like that. So less costly. The only thing you are getting money from a limited number of persons, but it's a private placement. Same thing happened, but only thing it's not published. That's all. Plus cost saving. So it's up to you. But you can't now. The IPO again, you don't know to individually speak to it. Once you put an advertisement, everybody gets to know. The replacement that came, you have to individually find out the people and see. You have to get the consent as well from these people. You are getting application, then you know that how much application you will be receiving. You are comfortable. Right? So that is private placement. Private placement is also important to save the cost. save the cost. So then there are methods of, I have given you a note. This is available in Etudes, methods of being listed. So one thing is prospect issue. Prospect issue is one of them. IPO is a prospect issue. IPO is a prospect issue. Same thing. So listed. There are 4 methods of being listed. Right? It's available on your note. And also I must tell you, a share market. If you want to invest in share market is what? Secondary market. Share market is secondary market. So share market is secondary market. So where you work, where you want to purchase the shares from the secondary market, that has to be done through CSE. Only thing, so how do you invest in shares? So basically, there are share brokers, not like government security brokers, right? They are different from these. Why? Two kind of regulators. Now see, there was a question on this. Who's the regulator? Now for shares, who's the regulator? SEC or CSE. Government securities, who is the regulator? Central bank. So 2 types of regulators. So the share brokers, the CSE rules. But government security dealers, government security brokers are actually coming under central bank guidelines. Understood? So those are the things you should, and also then now you know in the share market, and there are a number of types of shares, number of kind of shares. Ordinary shares, mainly ordinary shares and preference shares. Now in Sri Lanka, we have not much seen issuing preference shares. Preference shares is more like borrowings. They are not real owners of this particular company. So holding a preference share is not a real owner. But if you are holding a ordinary share, yes, you have become a real owner. There are 2 types mainly. One thing is voting shares, other one is non-voting shares. All these are ordinary shares. All these shares are ordinary shares. One thing is voting shares, the other one is non-voting. So what's the difference? At the AGM, what do you mean by AGM? So every year, company has to ask investors to come, and board of directors should present their performance to the shareholders in front of them. Now, who are the directors? Are they owners? Sometimes, not necessarily. So I can become a director of John Kills while I am not having one share. Non-executive directors. So there may be a rule from the company, at least you should have one share. That's a different issue. But without having a share, I can become a director. Without having a share, can you become a shareholder? No, you can't. But director, of course, you can. So then, who are the directors then? On behalf of the shareholders, they are appointing few people to manage the company affairs. सामान्य कंपनी पटन අරගෙන යන්න ඕනේ shareholders අපි කියමු ලක්ෂයක් විතර ඉන්න shareholder 10000ක් ඉන්නවනේ shareholders ලා ඒ හැමෝටම එකතු වෙලා company run කරන්න බෑනේ daily. So they appoint a few people, competent people, expert, competent people who are having the competence. They are appointing to the director board, so they can run the company. They have accountability. Who are they? Directors have the accountability towards the shareholders. They have the accountability towards the shareholders. Why? They have been appointed for one particular period to run this company affairs and give us a better performance. We are expecting from you. So we have appointed you. Why? You have a competence. You have a competence to do this. You are competent. So then give us a result. So that's the shareholders thing. If they don't, if they do dishonest thing, so they will be removed. So every year We call it annual general meeting. Shareholders plus board of directors get together and to discuss the company affairs, what has happened last year, and what is the future plans and everything. So then, as a shareholder, you can raise questions. Now, the dividend policy, the මෙච්චර අද මේ ඊළඟ ගිය මාසේ profit එකෙන් මෙච්චර dividend ගෙවනවා කියලා ඒකේ තමයි approve වෙන්නේ. So approve වෙන්න නම් so approve වෙන්න නම් so all the agenda එකේ තියෙන items වලට there should be a voting. Vote එක ගන්න ඕනේ. මේකට කැමතිද නැද්ද කියලා shareholders ලාගේ. The holding the non-voting shares you can't vote. But still you are a real owner of this particular company. Why? You are holding ordinary. Only the difference is at the AGM you are not supposed to, you are not allowed to vote. මොනාරි proposal එකක් ගෙනාව දැන් මොකක් හරි company කියනවා මොකක් හරි මේක මේ project එකේ invest කරනවා. invest මේ shareholders ලාගෙන් අහන්න ඕනේ. අහනවා නම් කැමති අය නම් අත උස්සන්න. What you are not, if you are holding a preference, you are holding a voting shares, then only you can vote. Otherwise you can't. Even you holding voting shares, non-voting shares, there is no much difference in terms of income, in terms of ownership. Already you can't vote at your AGM. That's the only difference. Otherwise, everything is almost all the entitlements are there. Apart from this, and there are two types of ordinary shares: participating shares, cumulative shares, non-cumulative shares. I have given you notes on this. It's available, but the examiner will not test these kind of terms. Why? They are not in existence. But remember that there are types of shares. There are shares like this. That of course you have to keep in mind if the examiner asks you. But in practical world, those are not available. Preference shares would external. People are not willing to participate in issuing preference shares. They don't like. They want to become a shareholder. If you want to, rather than you are issuing preference shares, you can issue debenture. You can issue debenture. So what's the difference? Now why issuing a debenture? Now see, these are very important things we are discussing, right? Why you are issuing a debenture rather than so what are the we say like this: issuing a debenture, issuing preference shares, two different things. But the one purpose. What's the purpose? To raise money. So what are the advantages and disadvantages by issuing preference shares rather than debenture? So you can suggest don't go for a preference share, go for a debenture. Why? Now, when you issue shares, you become a shareholder, but preference shares, but still a share. You are not a owner of this particular company. That's true, but it is coming under balance ordinary shares. Ordinary shares, so the palayan tamai preference shares. Kind of shares, kind of equity. But if you are issuing debenture, it is coming under long-term liability. Now, when the liquidation of particular company, who gets first money? Debenture holders. They are outsiders. Even you are a preference shareholder, even you are a kind of owner, you don't get in the first place. But anyway, you are getting after the debenture holders, but before the true owners. Who are they? Ordinary shareholders. That's what actually happened. So there are few differences by issuing debenture, by issuing preference shares, right? And there are cumulative preference shares, non-cumulative. So now coupon has to be made every year, whatever the period. If you are issuing preference shares, coupon has to be paid. If you don't pay, if you don't have money, if you don't have profit to pay this year, then it can be accumulated. Why? If it is a accumulated preference shares. cumulative preference shares now you can accumulate. Later දවසේ පස්සේ දවසක වුණත් you have to pay. Option is there. Anyway, option is available. Right. So then everything now these things there are some few more points which are not in the notes, but types of preference shares and types of method of being listed, and it's available on your notes. So available on your notes, and also remember that they are with the term called shares in issue. Shares in out that also can be listed. Like telecom එක කරා වගේ shares already in issue for sale, right? Or for sale. Everything is available in your notes. So please just go through. It's very, very simple. Simplified version I have put for you all, for you to understand, because we are not physically coming this class, so the notes are clear, right? Much clear. You can understand. There are a few more additional information as well I have included for you to read and understand since you are taking these lessons from home. Very important. Any question you have? I want to do this right issue, but only thing this tute is not available. This tute is not available, so then I will need to show it to you, but it's not available. Tute is not available. I asked them to put it this one, but it's not available. I'm very sorry about. So we will be taking that right issue part later. The questions part, so it's available in the notes. Right issue is basically I'll give you the introduction part. Right is basically this is relevant to shares, and this was tested several times. Right issue. Right issue is for whom? What the right issue? Share issue නම් අපි දන්නවා. Share issue එකක් කරපුවම අලුතෙන් shares issue කරන to raise money. What is the right issue? You are giving existing shareholders. See. You are inviting existing shareholders to put money. You are putting existing shareholders to put money. You are inviting existing shareholders. Why do you so? Why do you do so? Why you are asking existing shareholders to participate in the capital? මම shareholder කෙනෙක් නම් so මටද කියන්නේ යාපහු දාන්න කියලා shares අලුත් කෙනෙකුට කියන්නකෝ දාන්න කියලා සල්ලි ටික. Why you are telling me same thing? Why? I was holding whatever the percentage, but if the new people coming into the company, if it is the company is doing well, if the new people are coming into the company, so your ownership is what? Ownership is dilute. So they don't like. The existing shareholders won't like. And there are few entitlements for the ordinary shareholder, which is available in your tube. So preemptive rights. There's a term called preemptive rights. So anything you offer to outside, you should first offer to the existing. Now, your bank or your financial company, vacancy first you offer to whom? The existing internal customers. Who are the internal customers of your bank? Who are the internal customers of your company? Employees. Internal customers again employees. So you should first offer to the internal customers. You should first offer to the employees. That is important. You first offer to the employees. That is very, very important. Then only you will be offering it to outsiders. That is important. Okay. And the right issue is for whom? Existing shareholders. But there is another feature here. You must have heard. At a discounted price. ඉන්නයිට සලකනවා නම් you should have a better සැලකිල්ල. So better treatment. ඉන්න එක්කෙනාට පොඩ්ඩක් හොඳට සලකන්න ඕනේ. එහෙමනේ. deposit කෙනෙකුට උනත් එහෙම ඉන්න කස්ටමර් කෙනෙකුට නම් rather than you having a new depositors, rather than having new deposit, it is better to maintain the existing, right? So then right issue is existing shareholders at a discounted price, less than the market. Discounted is that less than the market value. So how do you find out the market value? Available in the GST website. Daily trade win below the market price. So what is the beauty there? Market is going at 100. There are buyers for this particular company shares at 100. But the existing shareholders are given new shares at 75 rupees per share. 25 rupees discount. That's good. See at a share why I am the existing shareholder at 75. Good or bad? Good. So since you are an existing shareholder, we should give something special to you. So that's what we do through right issue. Again, new funds come to company. Again, new funds come to company. Aludin Salino company by issuing right issues. Right? When you're issuing rights, right is basically shares. You're getting it. New money to the company. What happened after right issue? Right issue is what? More shares giving from the company. 100ක් තිබ්බ දැන් තව 50ක් දීලා ඉවරලා existing එකෙන් සල්ලි ගත්තා. So how many shares? 150. You have more shares. More shares means supply your demand has gone up. Supply has gone up. 100ක් තිබ්බා. right issue එකක් කළා. 50ක් issue කරලා ඉවරලා සල්ලි ගත්තා. So then how many old with how much shares? 150. More supply. When you have more supply, what will happen to the price? Should come down. After the right issue, we calculate what will be the price that we call theoretical X right price. Tested. 5 marks question. Theoretical X right price. So theoretical X right price means what? After the right issue, what will be the price? Before the right issue, we can calculate. Now I'll show it to you an example. It's available in your notes. I just wanted to have a note, but it's not available. And now see this. Now see this. Now right issue, generally we go like this. Existing shareholders, right? Existing shareholders. Now this is how it says. Now 2 to 1. Meaning existing 2, new 1. Existing new. Existing 2, new 1. Dekak tina dekak deno. You are holding 100 shares. How much? What is your entitlement? 50. So then after the right issue, you will be having 150 shares. After the right issue, you will be having 150. So we'll see it. previous slides are out there, but also I'll be taking questions with you later. Now this is how it says, right? This is the second question, second note. 2 to 1. This is the formula for the what you call anupata. එකක් තියන අයට එකක් දෙනවා. So then everything is 150 the total. So what is the external price? Now in the examination, examiner can ask you Alup shares 2 to 1. Can't see this. Now the new formula is 2 to 1. 2 means new, old. Sorry, 2 means existing, and 1 is new, always, right? So basically, you are giving lesser number of as new. 2 existing, so we say 3, 4, we say 4. Four existing and new 1. හතරක් තියෙන අයට එකක් දෙනවා. This is the right. Present market price is 100. Market is going at එක share එකක් රුපියල් 800කට යන්නේ. So we discuss new shares is at a discount. Right issue is a discount less than the market. So we say less. It should be then how much? Should always be less than 100. Can't have more than market. Can't have market. It should be always less than market. We say 80. Good. 80 නම් වාර එකක් දෙනවා. කාටද දෙන්නේ? Existing shareholders. So you are giving money to existing shareholders. Existing shareholders that you are giving what? So 100ට විකුණ ගන්න පුළුවන් මේක 80ට හම්බුනොත් මට. Why market is going at 100? But we say whether we can sell it at 100. Now this is how you. Now the examiner can ask you. This is how it comes. The examiner can ask you, what is the theoretical X right price? That's the question examiner can ask you. How do you do? It's very easy. Existing shares value 400. 4 into 100. And here 80. Why? 1 into 8, 80. So the total is how much? 480. Divided by total number of shares. 4 existing, 1 new. How many? 5. 5. So what will be the pricing then after the right issue? $480 divided by 5. 96. So we discussed what will happen to the supply. We have more supply. Market was going at 100 rupees. Right issue, what will happen to the price? What will happen to the pricing after the right issue? It should come down. Now it is trading at 90. Why after the right issue? It was trading at 100 market value. It was given at a discounted price 86. මම හිතුවා මට 80 හම්බුනම 100ට විකුණ ගන්න පුළුවන් වෙයි. But can I sell? I can't. Why? More supply. But still I can sell at a profit. I receive at 86, I can sell it at 96. That is a profit still. Depends, right? But how much you'll have to give? Well, as well, you you have to pay cash then, right? So there are 4 options available. What do you mean by that? 4 options. Now this is an entire, this is your right. Now say this is the O. අපි කියමු ඔයා 200ක් තියෙනවා ඔයාලා shares 1000 තියෙනවා shares. Yeah, how much shares your entitlement? 500. ඒ හතරක් තියෙන එකක් දෙනවා 2000 තිබ්බම දෙන්නේ 500 දෙනවා. then what shares 500ක් entitled. How much do you have to pay? එකක් 80 ගානේ ගෙවන්න ඕනේ. හාර්දාක් සල්ලි ගෙවන්න ඕනේ. If you don't have money to pay, example, if you don't have money to pay, then you can say no. I don't have money, so I will be not paying this. You can say that. Some other companies, not performing well. So since they are not performing well, the company is asking you to fix and not performing well, then the company is asking you to, company is going to issue a right. They are going to have a right issue. So, you are existing shareholder, the company is not performing well. Again, they are asking money from existing. Do you put money? No. So, you know, the company you have an option not to subscribe. Right? Not to subscribe. सामान्य मेक वेन्नी में गिरते लिवमक के ना मेक ब्रोकरिंग. This is company लिवमक के ना sorry company लिवमक के ना वो आगे entitlement का 5CI के लिए वाला you get a statement. So then वो आधार थोड़ा और साली दान check क्या broker दूँगा हमारी. जो है लोग. गोड़ा क्या मोड़ा मेक निकाली नो. Do nothing. हमारे मेकिंग कॅलक विकुरणो कॅलक सबस्क्राइब करनो ඔක්කොම විකුණනවා subscribe. So there are 4 options. එකක් subscribe කරනවා සම්පූර්ණයෙන්ම අනික කැලක් විකුණනවා අනික මුකුත් නොකර නිකයි ඕක තමයි දැන් කරන්න දින හොඳම ඔප්ෂන් එක. හොඳම කියන්නේ ඕක තමයි වැඩිපුරම කරන්නේ. මේක ආවමින්සු ගණන් ගන්නෑ. හැබැයි you can sell it. This is your entitlement. Now these right issues are traded in the stock exchange. Now what happened? ඔයා ගත්තේ නැති වුණාට company මේ කාටද විකුණනවා? ඔයා ගත්තේ නැති වුණාට මේක company කාටද විකුණනවා? So then company gets money anyway. Company gets money anyway. Company ला initially company raise කරන්න ඕන කරනවා issue share capital එකේ අනුපාතය තර 4:1. එතන total එක ගන්න හම්බ වෙනවා ගන්න කොහොම හරි මුළු number of shares ම එයාට අර ගන්න හම්බ වෙනවා. Now for example, now say මේ company issued number of shares 5000. Shares, number of shares. I write it down 5:1. So the total number of shares, how much? Company wise, new shares coming to 1000. And ultimately, after the right issue, how many shares? Altogether issued 6000. Then making oya ekka was ekka shareholder කෙනෙක් ඔයාලා making ID 120 percentage එක කීයක්ද එතකොට 10 shares 1000ක් මට ID. So then what is my entitlement? This year. 5000ක් තිබ්බ මේ කම්පැනි මුළු ඔක්කොම shares. ඒකෙන් මම 1000ක් මට 1000ක් අයිති. 20% කිව්ව එකයි. 20% අයිති මම 1000ක්. 1000 10 5000 කියන්නේ percentage මට 20ක් අයිති මේකේ. Number of shares how much? 1000. 1000ක shares තියෙන entitlement එක කීයද? 200. Right? 5:1. පහකට එක නම් 10ට 200යි. So ultimately I am getting 1002 shares. මගේ share holding percentage මගේ share holding number 1200ක් වෙනවා. මගේ number of shares 1200ක් වෙනවා. මට සල්ලි නැහැ. මම මේක දාන්නේ නැහැ. මම නිකන් ඉන්නවා. විකුණ ගන්නෙත් නැහැ නිකන් ඉන්නවා ස්ටේට්මන්ට් එක ගන්න නිකන් ඔය මන් නිකන් කියන්නේ. I don't do anything. I do nothing. But company how much should company should have? 1000 තියෙනවා අන්තිමට issue share capital එක. That's true. How much they expecting? Now say market is going at existing market එක තියෙන්නේ අපි කියමු 10යි. නමුත් right issue එක ගන්න රුපියල් 5කට. හරි? discounted price එක තමයි issue කරන්නේ. 10ක 5ට දෙනවා. හොඳයි. ඉන්න සලකන්නේ right. So the company is expecting how much by issuing rights? New shares 10යි 5 ගන්න. How much they expecting? 5000. රුපියල් 5000ක් කොහොමද එන්න ඕනේ කම්පැනි එක මොකටද? right issue කරලා මොකක් හරි project එකක් තියෙනවා. මට මේක රුපියල් 5000ක් කොහොමද කොහොමද මම ගන්න ඕනේ? මොනවද මම කරන්නේ? right issue කරනවා. හලා. Now you are not selling. But company 5000ක් එන්න ඕනේ. Now what is the amount from you? ඔයා මේක entitled කරොත් කීයක් කම්පැනි හම්බ වෙනවද? රුපියල් 5 ගන්න. ඒ 5යි right issue ඔයාලට 200යි. 1000යි. 500 right? 1000ක් හම්බෙන්න ඕනේ ඔයාගෙන්. ඔයාගෙන් 1000ක් හම්බෙන්න ඕනේ. right? ඔයාගේ right issue එකේ entitlement එක 200යි. අයි කොහොමද උනේ? 5:1 තමයි ratio එක. You are holding 1000, so then 200 is the entitlement. 200 මම subscribe කළොත් ගන්න කැමති වුණොත් මම ගෙවන්න ඕනේ කීය ගන්න රුපියල් 5 ගන්න. so මගේ total investment එක 1000. But you don't do anything. Company එවා දුන්නේ නැහැ කියලා නිකන් ඉන්නවද? Company is selling this 200 shares to somebody else. They are getting 5 rupees. They are getting 1000. රුපියල් 5 ගන්න එයා කාට හරි විකුණලා ගන්නවා. That's what actually happens. So ultimately, it doesn't matter whether you sell it or not, you are holding it or not, but the company gets the full amount. Now say, now you are a wise, you are a rational investor. So if you don't invest, but you think that I can sell this share, right? I can sell this, right? Yes, you can sell. Why? There is a market for this, right? Market demand market එකේ right තියෙනවා. market එකේ demand එකක් තියෙනවා, market එකේ supply එකක් තියෙනවා. මේ share market CSC එක. මේ CSC එක. market එකේ තියෙනවා මේක විකුණන්න පුළුවන් market එකේ. අර විකුණන්න පුළුවන්. demand and supply මේක trade වෙනවා. මගේ ටිකක් මම share broker කියන මොකද? ඔයා trade කරන්න. මම එපා මේ right. ඔයා trade කරන්න. ඔයාගේ 200ක් තියෙනවා. ගන්න කෙනෙක් ඉන්නවා මේ 200 රුපියල් 2කට. නිකන් ඉන්නවට වඩා රුපියල් 2ක් හරි වටින එක වටිනවද මට? මම මේ 200 විකුණන රුපියල් 200ට මම විකුණලා දානවා. කීයද? දෙකට බය කෙනෙක් ඉන්නවා. රුපියල් 400ක් I am getting. Why? By selling my rights. නිකන් හිතන ඔය 200ක් ඔය 400ක් නෑ මට. නිකන් හිටියා. But company gets something here. Say you are the buyer of this rights. ඔයා හිතනවා නෑ මේ කම්පැනි මම නම් හිතන්නේ හොඳ කම්පැනියක් මම මේක rights ටිකක් ගන්න ඕනේ. මේ කම්පැනි මම මේකේ share holder වෙන්න ඕනේ. කොහොමද තව rights තියෙනවද කායවල විකුණනවද? බලන්න ඔය trade වෙනවා ගමු කියලා අපි ගන්නවා. ආයි මේ කම්පැනි හොඳ potential එකක් තියෙනවා. it's a good company. සමන්නේ මේ කම්පැනි හොඳයි. එයාලා එහෙම හිතුවට මම හිතනවා මේ කම්පැනි හොඳයි කියලා. So then I am buying. මම මෙතන 200ක් ගත්තා. I am buying. How much you paid? 2 rupees කෙවුවා. So I have a right 200 දින ඔයා මේක ගත්ත කියලා හිතන්න. 200 shares රුපියල් 2 ගන්න කියවලා. අයි දෙක මාකට් එකේ මේක ට්‍රේඩ් වෙන්නේ රුපියල් 2කට. නමුත් ඉන්වෙස්ටර් කෙවුණා කියක් ගවන්න රුපියල් 5 ගන්න ගෙවන්න. දැන් මොකද කරන්නේ? රුපියල් 2 ගන්න ට්‍රේඩ් වෙනවා. මම මේ රුපියල් 400 මම ගෙවුවා. I'm not a shareholder. You are not a shareholder. So you purchase. So I am the shareholder here. I am not investing. I am selling it in the market. I am selling at the trading floor. What's the price going at? ₹2 rupees. So you are buying. Why? You think that this particular company is good. You are buying. 200 shares gatta ₹400. Is it finished now? No, 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 it's not finished. It's not finished. To whom did you pay this money? To me only. But ultimately, who should be paid? Company. How much they are expecting? $200 क्या expect कर रहे आप? They are buying 1,000. So then I have entitlement of this share. I have shares. The company, how much should I pay? I'm the new. You are the new one. I'm sorry. So I was holding this. I didn't invest. I sold this in the market. You bought. What's the price you bought? 200 shares. Monday shares got the now you have to pay now. 200 into 200 into what? 200 into 5. How much? 1,000 you have to pay to the company. 400 you already paid to me. How much total? 1,400 you have to pay cash outflow. So, for a rational investor, if you think that this particular company is good, just it's not on the way, you should buy this particular rights at the lowest price. Otherwise, you have to pay more. You have to pay more. Here, your total cost. Yes, 200 shares value. මේක රුපියල් 5 ගාණ ගෙවන්න ඕනේ නැයි 1000 කියන්නේ මම 200 කම්පැනි ගෙවන්න ඕනේ මේක මට ගෙවන්න ඕනේ. So you have to pay here then what cost එක 7 rupees. Your cost is 7 rupees now. මම මේක ගත්තා නම් මට වෙන රුපියල් 5යි. හැබැයි මේක මම ගත්තේ නැහැ. ඔයයි ගත්තේ. ඔයාට මේක cost එක වෙනවා කියන්නේ රුපියල් 7ක්. So that is how the right issue happens. That is how the right issue happens. So remember in the exam, this is the mechanism. So I'll be taking the questions. There are 2 to 3 questions in your note. I'll be taking that and I have explained everything. So the repercussions also I have explained. Now each options do nothing, half selling, half buy. I have given you examples with your examples to go through. So with the note, that is the only missing part. Note is not here. It's the previous type of note. I'll be taking the note with you all and each and everything I will go one by one. Then you can finish off that. But the content is this right issue. Now there is another term we call bonus issue. Bonus issue right issue but there is no cash movement. There is no cash movement. Only the number of shares increases. Only the number of shares increases. That's all. No cash movement, nothing. Bonus issue. So to have more liquid, to have more shares. So what is the benefit? If the dividend declares, you get more dividend. You get more dividend when you have more shares. Reserves, convert shares. That is bonus share. Converting reserves to shares is we call bonus issue. Converting reserves into share capital is bonus issue. No new money comes. Nothing. No new money comes. Okay. This is right issue. Bonus issue. And also now, so with that we have finished our discussion. alternative investment methods and all, right? So only thing I will take up with you the tube next week. And also remember that today's tube. Now this one. Now this is the model paper available on your website for this exam. This was actually presented 2014, the first days, right? To have a kind of knowledge what will be the paper like, right? The model paper. And examiner has on the examiner, but the somebody has given this notes, somebody has given these tunes, or the questions rather, right? So basically, it gives all these. I have given you the questions and also the answers for all. Now, this contains questions and answers. Now, the first question is I told you the evolvement, evolution, how this investment banking has evolved. It's basically discuss the first question, right? Now, the outline the Glass Steagall Act. So these are the theory part. So examiner has never tested only once, right? This is a theory how this investment banking has evolved. It explains everything, and also the other questions. And I have given you the answers as well. There are some questions tested in the exam. Mergers and acquisition and all. Securitization process is very important. So just go through this. Now this was tested. So who are the participants for this securitization or originator, investment bank? We'll be taking anyway. There's a subject syllabus content for all. I'll be taking that. Don't worry about it. But you can have a kind of sense what kind of questions the examiner has proposed you to go through. Now, go through. There are 12 questions and answers available for you all. Right, I have given you the answers and the questions for you all. Please go through this. Now, this is an examination question, so I will be taking it in the when you're doing the mergers and acquisition. That's why I not put the answer there. So when you're taking the mergers and acquisition, we will be taking this question as well. This type of question, not this particular question paper, but the examination question, right? So read this. Answers also available, right? This is the model paper given by the examiner for your so model guidance question. They say it's guidance question. We have completed several. The evolution part is actually covered with that question. Issue management we have completed now, right? That is one and structuring we will be taking it. And underwriting also we have completed now. And we will be moving into next this one, the project appraisal. Examiner has tested this question. This one tested. So we will have not much to do. Only thing the big topic is merger and acquisition and proprietary trading. That's all. So in the corporate finance, we have a small thing. Investment advice, I'll be giving notes next week or a week after. Only to read. Maybe brokers are then advisors. That is investment. Only thing examiner test these terms for 5-mark question. So what is the investment advice? Explain. Financial brokering, explain. That's all. So then these are the two things, and also I will be given the notes on wealth management, fund management. So then we can finish it off. Only the literal meaning, right? Only to what is the steps more than now. And also investment research. So nothing to do. Only the literal meanings. Investment research again, then but the broker සාමාන්‍යයෙන් එවනවා ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ the broker firms වල දිනනවා research unit එක. ඒ research unit එකකින් එවනවා companies කියන එක එක විස්තර. ඒක ගන්නද ඒක මේව මේ වෙනවා මේකයි profit එක මේකයි dividend එහෙනම් මේක අපි recommend කරනවා for you to buy. Who recommends? The broker. That's the investment research. That's all. Security analysis. Securities analyzed. So they are sending. That's all. So only literal meaning. So the investment research and fund management, wealth management, and investment advice, brokering, everything will be covered the next week or the week after new Q. On the literal meaning for you to read. So we have big topics: mergers and acquisition. Securitization also I'll be taking such separate topics. So restructuring and also the mergers and acquisition restructuring go hand in hand. Here only one topic will have to complete: restructuring of recapitalization and mergers. Okay, I'll take proper trading. That's all. Very 3 to 4 topics we'll have to complete the comprehensive topics. So otherwise we can complete this, then we can start doing past papers. And also I have given you for you to try actually this in the class. I would have done this in the class. This is actually rehearsal examination. I just wanted to do with you all. The what we have done so far. It's refreshing. So your knowledge as well. Please try this. I have input some questions as well. So possible questions, right? Possible questions. Just go through these questions so then you can understand what will be the. And also I have given another tunes for questions for you to refresh your minds. And this is actually you can attempt this question paper after we do this project appraisal. Don't attempt this question paper now. It says IRR, sunk cost, and everything will be taken later. So then, yeah, this is you should attempt this question paper after we complete the project appraisal. Now here, cost of capital and all, right? So that's that. Any question you have so far? Do you have any question? What we have done so far? So we'll be moving to next topic. I'll be giving you the background. So this is a big topic, but this is basically accounting subject, project appraisal, but this goes in hand with what you call this present value. What we did when we calculate the bonds. So we have been doing that. So same thing will be repeated under this as well. But now remember that last week we have discussed some part and try these question papers, right? This one. Now this project is anything, right? So how do you say that this project is viable or not? So basically you calculate the present value. So if I calculate the present value, if the NPV is positive, accept. If the NPV is positive, then accept. NPV is negative, don't accept. So how do you find out the NPV, present value, net present value? How do you calculate? Same thing we calculate to find out the pricing of treasury bond. Same thing, same features. No, nothing different. But only thing when you calculate the present value of treasury bond, year zero we didn't have any amount. Remember that? We are finding out the year zero balance. What is the price now? What is the price today? That's our target to find out when you are calculating treasury bonds. But in this particular project appraisal, we have been given a value for year zero as well. So we, example, now say you purchase a machine. You are purchasing a machine. So initially you have to pay money. Initially you have to pay something. That is year zero, there is outflow. Year zero means what? Now you have to outflow. Every year there is an expense. Plus, when you put this machine into the operation, there is a revenue as well. Cost revenue but you have to keep in mind in the project appraisal we have to take only the cash balances, cash inflows, cash outflows, cash වලින් දෙන ඒවා විතරයි ගන්න. For example, you can't take depreciation, right? So what depreciation means? You can't take depreciation, you can't take provisioning, right? There is no cash outflow. Can't take that. So that, of course, you have to keep in mind. That is important, right? You have to take cash outflow. Cash වලින් යන්නේ විතරයි ගන්න පුළුවන්. You can't not take anything other than cash. So that is also important. So same thing. Now, for example, we say there is a machine for 5 years, 3 years and a machine at the end. You're 0, 1, 2, 3. The machine got 50,000 given now. So you're 0, 1, 2, 3. 3-year machine. Today you have to pay 5,000. There is outflow. හැම අවුරුද්දකම මට ගෙවන්න රුපියල් 500ක් or whatever. I have to pay. Cash money. But I'm putting this into the operation, I can earn revenue. 700ක්. හැම අවුරුද්දෙම 700ක්. හැම අවුරුද්දෙම 700ක්. Now the company is asking whether this machine is worth of buying. A machine එක ගන්න එක හොඳයිද? 5,000 initial cash outflow. ඊළඟ මාස වෙනකොට so this is plus income. ඊළඟ මාස වෙනකොට 200 plus income. 700 income minus 500. මෙතන 200 income. Cash filling how many income. Now the company is asking whether this machine is worthwhile of buying. How do you decide? You should make how many අවුරුද්දකින් මේක හම්බෙන අවුරුද්දකින් මේක හම්බෙන අවුරුදු 3කින්. එහෙනම් tell me, is it worthwhile for me to buy this? How do you decide this? You have what? Discounting factor 10%. Example, right? 10% an example. What is this discounting factor? Bond calculation, return, required rate of return. This is a company. So this is then what? Cost of capital. For the time being, you remember cost of capital. Weighted cost of capital will come later. Cost of capital. මේ සල්ලි earn කරන්න මම කොච්චරද වගේ cost එක? Capital එකේ cost එක කොච්චරද? එහෙනම් then that is your discounting factor. So 10% is your discounting factor. So then you discount, 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 discount. One calculation only, we were actually finding out this. There was no outflow. One calculation. But in this particular project appraisal, you have outflow. Initial outflow is there at year 0. Now you have outflow now. Okay. So you discount that we know we have done. 1 divided. 1 divided by 1 plus r to the power n. Simple. This is always 1. This is the 10% or 0.0909. You got it? You have done this. So then ultimately you multiply this, multiply this, multiply this. You have a figure. If you have a figure, NPV, this is NPV. Net. Now these are present value. What is net? Make a net karana. If the net, the answer is positive. Making an answer. If the answer is positive, then you accept the project. The answer is positive, you accept the project. The answer is negative, don't accept. That's all. The answer is negative, don't accept. So this is nutshell. I just wanted to give you. So we'll be next week we can discuss. So other things you can read it. Huh? So other things you can read it. So then we'll be coming to cost of capital, how the components of cost of capital, everything will be discussed. We can finish off by next week. It's an important topic, right? Don't miss this out. It's an important topic. The examiner frequently test this, right? Any question you have before we wind up?
So one question with regard to share issues. Now, when we see share issues, shares issues.
Read it again.
One question with regard to share issues.
Okay.
Now, if we see advertisement, the issue is oversubscribed. Can it mean that the oversubscription is inclusive of underwriting? Can that happen?
So generally now
yeah.
Now generally,
yes.
Last what you call these IPOs.
Yeah.
Whatever the oversubscription has happened, that is purely from the investors only.
Right.
Now generally,
yeah.
we don't see any underwriting company. If there is any underwriters are involving, they have to tell them.
They have to tell them, right?
When they publish the advertisement,
yeah.
they have to tell them this is underwriter. Now, there was one thing happened, not an underwriter, but they have changed the word called guarantee. I can remember when the Ceylon Bank issuing a debenture, they had the saying, they had a statement say, coupon is guaranteed by who? Sampath Bank. So that is a kind of underwriting, but not the subscription. Now see, the coupon is underwriting, but specifically says that. So why you want to say that? To give a confidence that your coupon is very much protected.
Right.
Very much protected. So Sampath Bank is backing, but not that underwriting the amount. But there is underwriting involvement. There is underwriting involvement in the published advertisement, even at the oversubscribed advertisement. You have to say manager, arranger, trustee, and everything, and also underwriter also should be there. But the past years, we have never seen that underwriters involvement. What is it? Quite high charge. Quite high. Mostly to have underwriter. Okay, now you appoint underwriter before putting to the IPO. But if the people are subscribed fully, still you have to make the payment to the underwriter. Still you have to make the payment. So they are taking a risk.
Right.
Huge charge. But if I now say now there is advertisement, there is a IPO going on, revenge is going on, but I get a message that there is an underwriter. So what do I feel? Not good, right? So
Yes.
then I have to think that this company doesn't have any confidence whether the people will subscribe or not.
Correct, correct. Right.
Any question other than that?
Thank you, sir. I got the message here.
So since you don't have any question, but only 2 people are available today. Video, please go through this. Discuss. And right issue pricing questions I'll be taking up in the next week. I have given you notes on this PowerPoint presentation. So then we can finish off this project appraisal next week. So it's also important, right? Cost of capital calculation, cost of capital. So thank you very much for listening to me. So then we will meet next week.